Alright guys, this is my attempt at making a video going over how I made a 3-strap jury rig for the Yost Tab using some braided elastic I got from Amazon. I think there were some concerns that it might not last, so on and so forth. Absolutely true. That'd be hard to argue. But it's pretty once you try it, it's pretty easy to do, pretty easy to replace, and I'm sure you could find more resilient elastic. But this is the kind of thing people are using to make N95 mask or face masks, and what I'm using to repair N95 mask, and it's been holding up pretty well, and you can autoclave it too, so it can withstand heat for the most part. It's got a nice decent stretch to it. I've been using it for a couple of days, hasn't been fraying or anything on my mask and on the tabs. Alright, so you need some braided elastic, scissors, lighter, some kind of sharp either razor or box cutter, and I'm also going to use the Allen key for taking off the little screws off of the Yost tab. Alright, so I'm probably going to cut about, I want to say 15 inches of the braided elastic. I want a lot, so that you have a lot of room to adjust before you snip off the ends. You do need a lot of probably need more than this. And you do need a lot of leeway, because when you're trying to put all the layers back together, you don't want to lose the loops that you make. Actually, I'll save this. I'm gonna cut a lot more actually. So that's see, this is a lot more than 15 inches. Anyways. Alright, so I already took off the little screws so you don't waste time. I'm going to take this off. Take off the 550 paracord. And start with the, and then before we get started, we'll call this the front of the tab and the back of the tab. So front of the suede, back of the suede. So I'm going to take the very middle of my loop of braided elastic. Let me check to see where's the front versus the back, and then I'm gonna push it through. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. So actually, after you cut some elastic, braided elastic, you have to make a little slit right in between the two holes. So I already cut this hole, but what I did was I scored it in the front and then tried to see it on the back and score it on the back, and just keep making little cuts front and back until the blade went through, and then I kind of stretched it out a little bit just so it's about the same width as the holes that were for the paracord. Okay, just close up our blade so I don't stab myself. Alright, so we gotta check the front versus the back. Okay, so this is the back of the suede. So now I'm gonna take the Allen wrench, Allen key, whatever, and push a generous part of the loop through the middle. And this is going to be the loop for the middle finger. So I'm gonna pull a generous amount because I don't want to lose it when I'm messing around. I'm gonna push another loop through the other hole. This is too much. And then same thing. Push another loop through the other hole. So this is gonna be the basis of the whole thing. We got 3 loops going out the back, going out the back of the suede, and it looks like this on the front of the suede. So now we got our 2 leading strands, and we are going to feed it through the neoprene and the leather layers if you're using those, and then also through the faceplate. Won't you please arrange it? 'Cause I love you the way you look tonight. So I'm gonna get one leading strand through one hole, and I'm gonna get the other leading strand through the other hole. And the goal of all this is to have the clip, is to have the leading strands go down and out the side closest to your ring finger. So if this is the right hand, tab, we're going to want the leading strands going out this way and the clip over here. Okay, so I'm going to pull this through a little bit. Now that we got the leading strands to the holes, I'm going to take the leading strand for the ring finger and feed it back this way. Wait, did I miss a hole? No. And feed it back this way through the plate and the leather and any middle layers, like the neoprene layers. And I'm going to push it through with the Allen key to make my life a little bit easier. So I'm going to pull that through. Okay, and that's just going to, but I'm not going to pull it through the suede, as you can see. And now I'm going to take the other leading strand from the index finger and feed it through on the other side of the ring finger leading strand, just so it's going to lay it over the top and it'll look a little bit neater. I'm going to pull all the way through, and it looks kind of nice in the front, and it's still not going through the suede. So since we gave ourselves lots of leeway on the loops, now we can start to tighten it by tugging on the leading strands from the faceplate side. You could also kind of start pulling the slack out, starting at the ring finger and transferring all the slack to the index finger. And that's going to be easiest, in my opinion, if you get the slack out from the index finger side, because the leading strand goes over the top of the plate. So when you pull on that leading strand, it doesn't have to, there's less friction, I suppose. There's the least amount of friction. Cool, so it's, pretty close. Like I said, so since you had a lot of slack, try to transfer the slack going towards the index finger, and then that leading strand for the index finger is going to lay over the top, and then you can pull that to tighten it up. So we're pretty close. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just a little bit more slack, is I'm going to take my fingers out, and I'm going to put in all the screws about 75% of the way before we do our final tightenings. So let's do that real quick. It's always a little bit tricky because you have to feed it through all the layers, get the screw to bite into the plate. There we go. Just make sure a leading strand, and then you gotta make sure that your leading strands are going in between the two screw holes at the index finger side. So I'm going to kind of pull down a little bit. I'm going to get that screw in there and just get in about halfway, 3/4 of the way. There we go. Yeah, that's what we want. And you can already kind of see the end product in your mind, I'm sure. Let's just get this screw in. Oh, no! Get back on there. All right, where's that last screw? All right, there we go. All right. Never ever change. Keep that breathless charm. Won't you please arrange it? 'Cause I love you. Alright, and then since we only tightened it about 3/4 of the way, we still have a lot of the layers are not like super tight against the elastic band, so we still have opportunity to tighten it up to where we want it. So I'm gonna keep transferring it through the index finger, and then pull it out over the top of the plate, tighten it up a little bit more. I wonder if I can get this a little bit tighter. Sorry, okay, that was out of frame, I think. Well, anyways, so I'm gonna keep transferring the slack. Yeah, okay, that feels tighter. Keep transferring that slack over the index finger, pull it tight over the plate. There we go. Right, that feels pretty good. So now we have all this excess that we can cut off, and I can save this for a mask. So I'm probably going to cut it right about here, just so that you shoot it for a while. Once you're convinced that's where you like it, then you can trim up if you want. So I'm going to snip it right here. And then I would suggest leaving this part a little bit long, like I said, so you have some leeway to adjust more after you shoot for a little while. And we're just going to gently melt the edges so it doesn't unravel on us. Ooh, and then try not to burn it. It won't look as nice. And I burn it again. Whatever. Alright, and I'm just going to put my little loop or my lock on it. I do want some length on this so that it's not too close to your hand when you're actually using it. Here we go. So you got your 3 loops on the back. All you did is make a tiny little slit right there. So if you don't like it, just take it all off, put the paracord back on, and you probably won't even notice this after a while. And then this is a nice length to it, so that when we're shooting, it doesn't get caught up on your pinky finger. Let's do this. Cool. And then when you're holding it, see, this can just go out that side and doesn't really interfere with your shot. The only thing is, it's when you're shooting, you can't really flip it over like that back and forth very easily. I wouldn't do that anyways, because then you risk pulling this out too far and you might end up losing one of your loops. So just take it on, or take it off all the way, put it on all the way. I wouldn't flip it over or whatnot. Alright, hopefully this was helpful. I'm also going to do a written write-up because I know this might either have been out of frame or if anything is hard to understand or whatnot. Alright, thanks.